Stampers, it's Dawn from Tidbits from Dawn. I'd like to invite you into my craft room today so I can share with you the project that's up on my blog today. It's these cute little treat holders that I made some similar to several years ago. And for those I used a punch from Stampin' Up! That's retired, and foolishly I sold mine. I was young and stupid way back then. But today I figured out how to recreate those using my Sweet and Sassy same framelit dies, and I'd like to share that process with you today. So let's go on over to my craft table and get busy. Alright, we're back at the craft table, and I just filmed this once, and all in time-lapse, so it was at warp speed with no sound. So here I go again. Alright, these are the two little treat holders that I showed on my blog today. This one was made with the Painted with Love Designer Series paper, which is a bit thicker Designer Series paper, not as quite as thick as cardstock, but thicker than regular DSP. And but it does really good for this project. On the front of this, I did a little 1 3/8 scallop circle. Inside that is stamped a dashed circle with a stamp from A Good Day, and then the little heart comes from Sure Do Love You. And I heat embossed all that in gold, which goes along with the paper. Inside is a little gold Hershey's nugget. This is how it works. You just slide these hearts apart at the top like that and open it up to reveal your nugget. That's also wrapped in more of the Painted with Love DSP. And you could actually, I think when I did this before, I used to put like a hug and a kiss on there. There's plenty of room. But I had these nuggets. I'm trying not to have chocolate in the house right now, so I had these nuggets left from something else, and I just used those. And then they very easily just slide right back together like that. There you have it. Sweet and simple, but it makes a quick, cute little Valentine treat. I've written the cardstock and size and scoring measurements down for you here. This is rich raspberry, but we're going to do another one of the red ones today. And you cut that at 2 by 6.5, and then you score at 1 1/4, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 5 1/4. Pretty simple. Doesn't take much cardstock or DSP, so you can make a lot of them. Thought about making them for the workers at my mom's assisted living. We'll see if I get to that before Valentine's. I'll try to leave these in the picture for you. Okay, I want to go ahead and introduce the cast of characters to you today. First off, you're going to need some glue dots. That's just for the wrapping of the nugget. Today's nugget's wrapped in some Designer Series paper from last year. Just have a lot of it, and I'm trying to use it up. And the piece is cut at 3 inches by 1 3/8 inches, and it's just wrapped around, and I used glue dots to keep it held together. Then we're going to use paper snips, real red ink to stamp the little heart that goes on the front, which I've actually already done because I think everybody can do that and without me demonstrating. And then I'm reaching around here. We'll use Stampin' Dimensionals to hold the heart on. And the 2 stamp sets I used today, the heart came from Heart Happiness, and the thank you, which I use these for customer thank yous in their orders for February. The thank you came from Thoughtful Banners, which this is a really good sentiment set. I use it quite often. There's a few stamps in here that are really red. And then of course we're going to use the Sweet and Sassy framelit dies. This is the heart that I use. It's the same one that cuts out the heart on this. I'm just going to leave those over here. It's this same heart size. And if you measure it on the grid paper at the fattest part of the heart, it measures about 2 1/8. So that's the heart die that we'll be using today. And then of course we have to use the Big Shot. I almost never get away with doing a project without using the Big Shot. So here he comes out. I have a customer that calls it the Big Boy. So that's why I say it's a him. So let me get this whole end in the video so you can see what's going on. So what you're going to do is we're going to work, you can see this end's already done, and I'm going to work on getting this end cut into the heart shape, the heart top. So I'm going to put him right on I'm using my magnetic plate and my really beat up plates here. So what I did was, after I figured out one of the first times I made it, where this die would fit in here. And I try to fill up as much as that cardstock as I can with the die, but I made two little black tick marks with a Sharpie. I don't know if you can see them or not. Let me hold this up a little bit closer, but there's one here and one here, and that's where it fits on my score line. So if you don't mind putting a little mark on, I think it'll come off with some alcohol on your die. That really helps me when I'm trying to line this up. I just line that up on my score line, and I know that I don't want to cut below that. So in order not to do that, and I'm sure if you haven't seen anybody do this, I'll show you. What you do is you put your top plate only on the part that you want cut, which is right on that fold and those black tick lines. So that really helps give me a place to line up this top plate. So what I do then is I just kind of I hold it, I kind of carefully push it into my handle starts turning, and then turn, turn, turn. And there we go. Okay. So here he is. You can see the only part that cut is right where I had that scoring plate on top. You see that? So you still have some of the red cardstock adhered to the main piece of cardstock. But what we're going to do is use paper snips now to cut that off. And I've got my little crumb bowl here. That's what I call this. It has all my little die cut crumbs. I've got several of these. One by my Big Shot, one here on my craft table that I use to cut when I use like my Stampin' Dimensional backs and any little pieces I trim off while I'm working, ribbon ends. If I had to dig down in there and find something, I'd never come out with it, I don't think. Okay, so there that is that. You just cut right along the score line and down to the score line on the heart side. Then you're going to take your snips and cut about halfway, and you can kind of use the center of your heart as a guideline, along that fold line about halfway in. Then you're going to rotate this so that you're cutting on the other side of the heart the same way, and like that. So now one heart's cut on this side and the other heart is cut on that side. Then you're going to fold all the lines like this, and you're going to take your wrapped whatever, or just plain Hershey's Kisses, you don't have to wrap them, and you're going to put one glue dot on one end and one glue dot on another end. Up until I moved into this craft room, and even up until a few weeks ago when I finally finished cleaning out my old craft room, I had one of these as a sample to know the measurements. So I had to start from scratch because I have no idea what I did with that sample that I kept, and of course I'll find it after Valentine's Day. But anyway, then you're just going to take these across from each other and slip those two slits together, and that'll pull into your little heart. And then you'll take the stamp die cut that I showed you earlier, and I just used two Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that. And then adhere it right to the front of your treat. And there you have it. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of these videos again, so maybe I'll be able to do a few more in the coming weeks. But I thank you for joining me, for watching my video, and thank you for coming to my craft room today.